Hi guys, I'm Daniel Perez. I'm the head instructor here at Sunset MMA. I've been getting some requests for a good while now to put some techniques down on video and whatnot. And to be honest, I've kind of dragged my heels a bit because every time you go on YouTube, everyone and their grandma has jiu-jitsu techniques up on YouTube. So I didn't see the point of really doing anything. But people have kept on asking, so we're gonna, every now and then we'll drop a video online for you guys to check out. But I figured I'd start off with something cool, something that I think is pretty unique to my style. I haven't really seen a lot of other people utilize it. It's just some stuff I've been playing around with for a few years in the guard. I kind of call it my loop guard, and it's just a cool variation of different techniques that I figured if we're gonna start, let's start with something different, and then put it out there, and then anybody who sees the moves and likes it or thinks that you can add something to it or you guys want to play around with it, please feel free. So it's going to be like a communal project to kind of build a new technique in jiu-jitsu if you guys don't think it's total crap. So here we go. I'm starting off with my guard. I'll start off with just a standard full guard. Okay. And then the first time I ever really thought about utilizing this technique, it was kind of from an MMA kind of situation. It was a no-gi day, and my concern was the punches coming in. So I'd be blocking here with the forearm, and then I'd initiate here, wrapping the arm with an overhook, and then I figured, well, why can't I'm here, I'm gonna block, very normal and it's basic to kind of just overhook and hang out here, but I kind of wanted to start working some different things. And just playing around with stuff kind of went into when the opponent's here striking, I'd come in here and then I'd block with the knee, then move my control down here to the wrist for kind of like a spider guard kind of deal with the shin. From here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to work it over, kind of like extending the arm like this, and I'm going to try to put my foot into the spider guard, like so. Okay. A couple different ways to do this. I'll go over some details now. But now from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to push the point of his elbow back beyond kind of where he can see it. So if Jonathan were to touch his face, were to turn his face, he'd never really be able to see the point of his elbow. I'm hiding it behind him. So when I'm hiding it behind him now, I'm going to take this leg and I'm going to loop it through here. Okay, and now I have a lot of control over Jonathan. Now he can't free himself in any way. Okay. Now, here comes the fun part. Over here on this side, if we turn, here's the camera, sometimes just by pulling on this grip up or switching over to the wrist and pulling the arm towards his head, you get kind of like a bicep lock. It's very uncomfortable. Then the second thing I kind of played around with from here was I put my foot on the mat, and now by extending my leg and rolling, I can get a sweep to the mount. My foot's still underneath, still trapping the arm, and now I can switch from the arm to the head to bring my leg over into a triangle position this way. Okay? A couple of other things I played with from here. Okay, so if it's not coming from an MMA scenario, I use this with the gi and without the gi all the time. So from here, I can also just kind of start working to get in towards an overhook. Okay, so I get one really nice tight overhook. I prefer to overhook this arm like this with my hand inside. Okay, can even grab my own collar. Then I'll work wrist control over here, and I'll look for the opportunity to bring in the shin first. Okay, now once the shin is in, okay, it's kind of a little bit of play with your wrist control. So kind of work it to where you can kind of find the moment to make the transition to put your foot into that spider guard, into his elbow. Okay, now from here, a lot of times when you have spider guard, what you're trying to do is open your opponent out wide like this. This is a little different. I actually don't care if he can bring his arm close to his body. What I'm interested in is pushing the point of that elbow back. So I have this really, really tight angle. Now, you see when I push him out like this, he's kind of going over this way. A lot of guys will fight that really hard. So he'll struggle to keep that shoulder kind of pressing in towards me. That's okay, okay? The more he does that, the bigger my loop becomes in the back, where I can just transition my foot in, okay? Now, he's all mine, okay? So now from here, something else I worked on was I'm gonna bring my leg kind of, I can go on the mat or I can go off his hip. I kind of prefer off his hip. All right, let's go to this way a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna go with my foot off the hip here to open my angle this way. And then I'm gonna bring my leg over, release. Now he's gonna obviously try to free his arm, but at that point it doesn't matter. I'm already in on the triangle position. From here, I'm gonna extend my hips, clear the arm over, and finish. Okay. Cool? So, let's talk about a couple of little details. I've worked a whole bunch of other stuff out of there, some crazy wrist locks and all kinds of things. But I think those are the three most basic things I tend to do out of that position is, you know, I tend to go for that sweep, that bicep crunch a little bit, and also that triangle is the thing I kind of go after the most because it's really, really open. Where I've seen students and other people who wanted to try that move have trouble is getting that loop. Okay, so let's talk about that a little bit. Okay. Everybody seems pretty okay getting that overhook, getting about this far. Okay. First problem I tend to see is being too square. Okay, so a little bit. What I want to do here is I kind of want to angle my body. Okay, there's a number of ways I can do that. Okay, I can just kind of scoop a little bit. Okay, I can by bumping. I can put my foot in the hip. Okay, being careful that he doesn't start putting his arm down or pry. So that's when I'm going to go for that wrist control. Okay, and my foot here, and I want to open this way. Okay, when I have a little bit of an angle now, I can kind of stretch, keep him away. It's more comfortable now. My leg goes much farther across his back than when I'm square. When I'm square, it kind of stops maybe at about his shoulder. Okay, when I'm turned out, I can go almost to the outside of his body. Okay, so now from here, gotta watch that arm. Okay, I don't want him to start messing with it and trying to open my guard. So the first thing I'm gonna do is bring in my shin here. Okay, now that's not too hard. Okay, second point where I usually see people have trouble is transitioning from being on the shin to being on the foot. Okay, because a lot of guys, they kind of try to jump it there. They try to go, they try to like kick out and then hop the foot on. And what ends up a lot of times is they miss, or once they get this far, they still tend to push with their foot and they lose the grip. Okay? So when I'm here with his arm on my shin, there's actually not a whole lot going on with my leg. Once I have him kind of stretched to where I want him, right, now it's really more, I tend to push his arm away this way with my hand. Okay? Once I do that, it's easy to just loop my foot. You see that? It's like a little circle. Boom. Okay? So look, from that little loop, I keep giving it a little push. And now, boom, I'm on the arm. Okay? Let's look at that. A little bit more on this side. Okay? So, from the shin, okay, I kind of stretch him out more or less to where I want him. It doesn't have to be too crazy. Okay? But I don't want my leg to be super tense. I don't want it to be just jerked out there the whole way. Okay? So I'm kind of hanging out here, and I want to make sure that I can kind of extend his arm with my hand. Okay? When I create that extension, it's easier to bring my foot in, kind of like by my wrist. Okay? And now I'll just adjust it that way. So now from here, I just pull and slide my foot. Now I'm good to go. Okay? Now, the more I try to open him wide, like I would for a spider guard, the harder it's going to be for me to loop my leg. Okay? So again, I just kind of want his arm hanging out in that midpoint. Okay? What I really want to concentrate on is pushing the point of that elbow. Okay? Pushing the point of that elbow back. Now, from there, see, it almost just comes right over my foot. See that? From here, right over my own foot. I keep my grip, and I just eliminate that foot. And now he's totally stuck. Okay? Now, you can go to the wrist, pushing up, cranking on that wrist, this way, stretching for that sweep, or this way. Okay? Turning out, leg coming over the top. He's gonna fight that right away. Boom, coming in the triangle. All right, so there you go, guys. That's my infamous loop guard technique.